had him many times before, but I don't really, I always got to make an intro because he is definitely one of the, how can I say, one of the main reasons why traders need to have discipline. So he's the founder and CEO of the Disciplined Trader. He's a leading mental trader, in traders, helps people improve their focus on discipline and also succeed in the markets. His discipline trading, mastery program has helped thousands of traders all over the world fine-tuning their strategy and sticking to their trading plans. A little bit about Norman's background. He actually was a stockbroker in a career, just like I was, and we mainly all started. He worked at Payne Weber back in the day. And he's also the author of The Mental Fitness of Traders, the book that has been downloaded literally over 1.5 million people worldwide. But Norman's not just about trading. He's got a really engaging personality, which you'll see. And I know him for years. I love listening to him, but his background, it's been around since the 90s. He hosted basically a popular radio show back in the 90s called The Risky Business, where he shared some of his great insights in trading, and he managed, basically how to manage risk. His passion is to help traders and succeed, in trading just like him. And I trust him. That's why I had him on here today and look forward to hearing what he has to say. And I think you're going to learn a lot from him. So with that said, let's give a warm welcome to Norman Hallett. Norman, thanks for being here. Norman, I can't hear you.
Oh, there is it. Now I'll give you an official thank you. We need to exchange cups. I want one of your cups.
All right, you got a deal.
Oh, yeah, I need to make my logo bigger. You're right about that. But I got an expression on the other side. I'm a wise and disciplined trader, which is the introduction to, what do you got on the other side? Oh,
now you make me feel bad because I don't have it. I should actually, you know what? I should do the same thing. I should leave my words of wisdom like you have. That'd be a great idea.
Probably only have 500 cups on the original order. So, on the next.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, thank you. I'm going to share my screen here. And I always promise, let's see, let's get it shared. That looks pretty good. I'm going to start at the beginning. I always like to do focus on the mental game when I'm with Fausto, because he and I know, we're both from New York, from Long Island. Life can be fast and exciting, but you need control. And I think probably we learned that at an early age. I know I was a high school and college wrestler. You kind of look like a wrestler yourself, but Fausto. But you learn certain control, and all of the great speakers. I looked at the list of great speakers. They must owe you, because it's quite a good list. But I'm the guy. I'm the glue. I'm the guy really that makes all of this work. And I don't know how to better say it. I mean, you can do it without me, but it's a little bit tougher and almost impossible for some if you cannot get control of the mental and emotional element of trading. And I'm going to go through 7 simple steps. The first 2 are the first 5 are simple. We'll zip right through those. The remaining 2 I want to spend a little time on, because that's where you get the lasting control. This is where professional traders hang out. You may hear them on these presentations with a lot of energy and a lot of speed. We learn to do that in our presentations to bring some energy. But when we trade, it's a whole different story. We're usually pretty quiet. I know people don't believe me when I tell them I can be quiet, but when I trade, I am focused. And in order to focus, you need that subconscious control. So let's get into it. Since we have the next 55 minutes or so together, let me just check one more time. Yeah, 56 minutes. All right, here we go. First, I'm going to cover who's going to benefit from this, and a little bit about me. I'm going to just zip through that because Fausto gave you a pretty good indication of where I come from. I'm going to give you a little bit of a promise about this particular presentation. Then I'm going to go through the first 5 steps, what I call then the 2 secret sauce steps, which are even simpler than the first 5, but very, very important to understand. And then if you want my help I want to give you something that that I gave to willing traders during Black Friday, and I'm just I'm reissuing it just for this presentation. So you're going to really want to act on it. You know, Black Friday is already over for a week or so, so almost a week. In any event, let's get going. When we say staying on track, when you last experienced the fear of losing, what were the circumstances that led up to the fear? I just need you to put that question in your mind. The last time you experienced the fear of losing, because the fear of losing is tied to so many other fears. I'm going to sway in and out of that, but I want to mention that up front. What are the circumstances that led to that fear? I mean, did you take a couple of losses and then miss the next trade because you were hesitant? Did you start to revenge trade? What's your issue? Be honest with yourself about this, because unless you're honest, you're not going to get the kinds of responses or answers, because they're going to be within this presentation, most likely. All right, so who's going to benefit? Really anybody that looks like this when they trade. We all kind of look like that when we start out, at least. And if you're still looking like that after 5 or 10 years of trading, just focus in on what I'm about to share with you. To be clear, futures traders, forex, stocks, share traders, options, bonds, day traders, swing traders, position traders, and now I would say I'm training somewhere in the neighborhood of 10% crypto traders, which now exist I know in the futures market, and they have some avenues in the shares market, the ETFs and so on. So crypto is a big area now, but what I'm about to tell you, the mental and emotional constructs that I'm going to teach you, apply, of course, to anything. But because without control, this is all, you're just kidding yourself. So why you want to listen to me? Because my wife recognized me as somebody with value, and she's smarter than I am. My wife is one of the best known in the world for her development of subconscious trainings, meditations for all kinds of individuals. She's been on the cover of psychology magazines all through her career, but for the last 15 years, she's been working with me to help traders specifically. So I have to give her the credit up front. I've written several books. These are the couple that are still available. This was a presentation at one of the expos, but I'm best known for what got me on the map are my 4-minute drill for traders. If you ever just Google that or go over to YouTube, you'll see over 200 4-minute drills where I speak like I'm going to speak to you today, right between the eyes. I mean, unless you are ready to be honest with yourself and put the ego aside and just let me dig in and help you, because we've all been there. We've all been there, and only 10% of us have taken that step that the last presenter described and whatever. We know what to do, when to do it, because we've taken our hits and we drew the line in the sand and we said, this is our time, and if it's your time, just keep listening. Fausto mentioned Payne Weber. I was a commodity trading advisor for them, where I was managing millions for 20% of the profit. That was very lucrative, but it involved a lot of selling. So I was only with them less than 2 years until I started my own Hallett Commodities. And then most recently in 2000, the Disciplined Trader, as Fausto mentioned. A little bit about my wife. She's recognized as an innovator in the field of the subconscious training over 32 years. Going to the next paragraph, she started the Fast Start accelerated learning program in California when we lived in San Francisco. But since 2000, she's focused primarily on helping stock, futures, and forex traders with me. She's got all kinds of, didn't need 2 more pages to list all her credentials, but if you look her up, you'll find a lot about her. What is the promise for this particular presentation? What do I hope that you get out of it? And I really believe that you will if you just focus on what I'm saying. The promise is I'm going to give you all that you need to eliminate the fear of losing from your trading. What's more, by eliminating the fear of losing, you'll be proving to yourself that there is a simple process to reverse other detrimental trading habits like overtrading, hesitation to pull the trigger, revenge trading, which was our biggest issue last year. Before that, it was lack of patience, getting over losses, uh, and waiting for that A plus trade to develop. You know, Fausto and I, we've talked over coffee at some of these expos. We always seem to go into the idea that you have to be patient to wait for the setup to hand you the trade, as opposed to letting your mind wander and doing something else. You got to wait for the A trades. Your vision will be clear that you can be the successful trader that you know you're capable of being. Look, I don't think you'd be doing this if you didn't think that you could succeed in it. I'm sure if it's like me, it's knocked you down a few times, but at some point when you get up, I mean, getting up is good, but continuing to be knocked down, especially for the same reasons, you start to enter that that Albert Einstein thing, that if you keep doing the same thing and getting this and expecting a different result, then that means you're crazy. I'm not going to call you crazy. I'm just going to call you misinformed to yourself or whatever. But so this is my promise. Look at the elements and apply them. All right, let's get into the first 5 simple steps. Okay, the first step is really being comfortable with your risk. I do a lot of prop trading lately, and I train traders with prop trading. But it really, whatever you're trading, you have a certain amount of money, capital that you're dealing with. In prop trading, say you have a $50,000 account that you're dealing with, that you're testing for. I take that $50,000. I'm sorry, you have a $50,000 account that you're testing for, but you only can recede in that account $2,500. In other words, if you break 47.5, you're going to be blown out. And in your own account, you may have deeper parameters. If you're trading 50,000 of your own money, you may be willing to lose 10,000 before you really do some serious assessment. I think that number is pretty deep, but whatever it is, you need to adjust. You need to understand your risk. What I like to do, if I have a $2,500 span that I'm willing to speculate with, and willing to say goodbye to, I take that $2,500 and I divide it by 10. Okay, so $250 is what I'm willing to risk on every trade. And if you have a trading plan that that will deliver you 60, 65, 70, 75% in winners, that percentage will serve you over the long term, of course. You can get 3 or 4, 5, even 5 losers in a row in an excellent trading plan. But that shouldn't throw you out of the box. So you need to plan for your risk. By taking a $2,500 risk span and dividing it into 10 parts, I know that I can take $250 risk in each trade and be very comfortable, where I'm not worrying about the risk. There are a lot more emphatic terms to worry, but I'm saying that if it's a 50,000, if you're trading 50,000 of your own money and you have a 10,000 you're willing to lose, then you don't want to lose any more than $500 per trade or whatever. But you want to give yourself an opportunity to win by letting the average work for you. So controlling your risk, being comfortable with your risk, that's the key. Being comfortable with your risk. Now, I said 250 for 2,500. Some may not be comfortable with that. Some may want just $100. Okay, and they want 25 times. That's fine. Find your level to control your risk. Okay. The second tip that I have for you is to be confident with the why, the WHY, the why of your trading plan. If you don't know the depth of your trading plan, how it was constructed. I mentioned that I've written several books on trading plans, and what I go into in every one of the books that I talk about is this idea of being confident with the trading plan that you're going to trade with. If you're using Fibonacci, for instance, it's important to know that Fibonacci is a universal equation. It's a universal. You see it in the universe, in the Milky Way galaxy, in a snail shell, in the way broccoli expands. It's a formula of expansion that is true throughout the universe. And so we apply it to trading because trading it breathes in and out in a and since it's run by humans, it's very interesting and proven that it expands and contracts in a very similar way to everything else in the universe, because we're the ones that created it. So if you have that in your trading plan and you're using Fibonacci, and it doesn't work, and you have a couple of losing trades, it's very easy to say to yourself, well, it's a universal truth. Over the long term, this will work. And have that trust because you understand the depth of what you're doing. So whatever elements that you have in your trading plan, you must understand the why of your trading plan and believe in that why. Because if you don't, this is why you see somebody with a great trading plan or a great presentation, you buy and it doesn't work for you because you really didn't look into the elements. You didn't understand the why. And so when it gave you 2 or 3 losses in a row, you lost confidence and just multiplied and turned to another ill like revenge trading, this kind of thing, or over trading. This happens often when you have early losses. So I'm saying to you, be confident in why you're doing what you're doing. So confidence in your trading plan. Let's go to number 3. This is an interesting one that I don't see much, but I advise it for every trader out there, no matter what you trade. You want to look back on the effectiveness of your plan so that when you move to the future, which is you're in the present now, and you're about to, when you have that positive expectation, which you really want to have as a trader, really helps you with that positive expectation. In fact, it's necessary. You need to sit down to your computer and say, today's going to be a good day. Doesn't matter what yesterday was specifically. But what I suggest to you is that you confirm the fact that your trading plan has value and that will work by looking back at yesterday's action and taking a look at that chart and saying, if I had followed my trading plan the way it is written, I would have been very profitable. You take that confidence and you bring it to the present and project it to the future. This is where confidence comes from in trading. This will allow you to overcome any ills that happen, those moves against you that you get scared and you get out and you should have stayed in and let your stop work for you. You'll have trust because you look back and you saw that yesterday, and I mentioned yesterday because so many times you get 2 or 3 days in a row that don't work. You say to yourself, is this trading plan even working now? Has the market changed? You call your friend, wasn't this a tough day to trade? Whatever it is, it's only you and the market and your plan, okay? And so if yesterday would have been a losing day for you, you want to look back another day and maybe 3 days if you need to, because most valid trading plans, good ones, will be profitable over 3 days or 4 days. But look back, you seldom have to do this, but look back 3 days if you have to, so that you can tell yourself, if I had followed my trading plan for the last 3 days, I would have been profitable. This way, in the present, you're saying, well, let's go. All I have to do is what I did yesterday, or what I could have done yesterday if I was trading, whatever it is. And if you didn't follow your plan yesterday, something, you have to excuse yourself. You have to recognize why. And I always suggest doing a specific meditation. We have those that can reverse that situation for you and put your mind in the right place. Because focus is all you have in trading. Your trading plan and your focus to follow that trading plan. Inspect the day before, have confidence that it works, and move forward. Okay. So we talked about the being comfortable with the risk. Okay, that's the beginning. And then confident with why your trading plan tells you to do what it's telling you to do. And then you want to be confident by looking back a day, 2 or 3, if necessary, to give yourself confidence in today's trading. The fourth issue is taking a break or rebooting. I don't, I think traders trade too long. They trade for too long a period of time. When I met a trader yesterday that trades all day. And I said, boy, you trade. And no, he trades the day session, the night session. He was trading literally 14, 15 hours a day. I said, well, I'll tell you right now, nobody can keep their focus for that long. I will let me just give you the corollary to that. The less time that you bracket your trading, the less time that you trade, less time of the day, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, the less you trade, the more focused you're going to be on doing the right thing in a short period of time. This is why when a trader comes to me and says, well, I only have 90 minutes to trade before I have to go to work or whatever, I say, fabulous. That's exactly what you want. You want a focused short period of time so that when you can apply your tested trading plan, it's going to work for you because you're totally focused. Okay, so I trade from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and so and I won't put on a trade past about 11:15 or 11:30 because I know it's going to bleed into my 12 o'clock deadline. Now, if a trade is on, from 10 o'clock and keeps riding, I'll ride it out. But the idea is that I do everything to stay in that structure, in that, because when you do that, the more you commit to a short amount of time, shorter than you're probably trading now, the more focused you'll be, the most successful. The number of trades you take is not important. It's the quality of the trades that you take. Okay. And if you have a day with no trades, that's in some ways, in many ways, just as good. In fact, I honor that more. You didn't take a trade that wasn't on your trading plan. It's not that you couldn't make a decision or that you were hesitant. No, not taking a trade is a decision. It's a decision not to trade. And that's just as important as taking a trade that you should be taking. So all of it is good if you do it right. So yes, now if you insist on trading 8 hours because you have no life, and you know, uh, then you need to take a break. You need to divide that into 3 or 4 parts. And when I say 3, I don't talk about 5 minutes. I'm talking about a half hour where you do a meditation, you go outside, you do something that is something other than just sitting in your chair, closing your eyes for 5 minutes and going back to it. You've got to cleanse. You've got to do it. It's another, but really, you shouldn't have to really do that. Limit the time that you trade. Limit the time that you trade. I think you're going to be very surprised on what you're capable of doing when it comes to the idea of focus. Okay, the fourth element here, or is this the fifth? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth. Is to identify and stick with the 8+ trades. There is Fausto. This is the closest I could come to Fausto on a rocket ship. Because this is what happens. This is what happens when you've done enough testing. I mean, Fausto is a testing freak like I am. We test before we do. Don't tell us to do so. I'll look at it, I'll entertain it, but I need to test. I need to test it in real time. It takes me months to test new thoughts or ideas. I have somebody else test it, but I give them the parameters. It takes them months because I want to test it in real time for some specific reasons. When you see a bar, you never know what happened in the candle. So what I'm saying to you is that you need to stick to your best identified, tested trades. You're much better off taking only 3 8+ trades than you are 1 8+ trade and 5 A trades and 2 A- trades. Again, it is not the number of trades that you take, it is the quality of the trade. So you need to identify, and what is to me, an A+ trade involves an A+ trigger, okay? Now an A+ trigger is something that when you apply, when the trigger happens and you put on your position, you get the result that you want within the next 2 candles, maybe 3 candles, very short period of time. You want, and not the full extent of what you want, but the initial pop, enough to take a scalp. I love, when I'm prop trading, I always teach you need to take a scalp. You need to have that because they hold loss of open trade equity against you. And why do they do that? Because professional traders hold open trade equity against themselves. This is why people jump out of windows. They don't jump out of windows because they had 10 losses in a row, and no, that's not why. Because they had what they wanted and they let it dissipate and they broke even. And now they're in a loss and they stay in it because they want to get it back, because they don't want to be the guy that when they look on the gal, they look in the mirror and they say, I was the person that let go of that $1,000 profit in a $10,000 account. That's why people jump out of windows. So I'm saying to you, when you have a construct where you take, say, two contracts in the initial stage where you have an A+ trigger and you're going to get a pop, that's going to happen enough to give you that scalp and then move the stop to break even. And then you can relax as you defend the runner, as I call it, if and when that happens. So there's got to be a process that allows you to be right a lot of the time. And that starts with an A+ trigger, one that gives you what I call a pop. not one that over time will eventually. No, no. Most day traders, you want it now. I saw a comedian that was a very funny guy that just says, Amazon tells you that when they came out with the 2-day when the post office came with 2-day delivery, then Amazon came with overnight delivery. Now they'll give it. Now I order something at 8 in the morning and it comes to me by noon. And the comedian says, I want it in my hand before I think about it. I mean, traders they want to know that doing the right thing. And I have, listen, that's a mental construct that's within all of us, that we want to profit. I don't want to tamp that. I want to encourage that by encouraging you to do the right things to get there. Okay. And so if I can review these 5 simple steps to eliminate, if I never see you again, to eliminate revenge trading and fear of losing, be comfortable with your risk. Okay. Divide your risk parameters by 10 or 20 and stick with those parameters on each trade. As long as you have a trading plan that is 60% or better, you're gonna do fine over the long term. Try to find one at 65 or 70 if you can. Be confident with the why of your plan. Unless you understand the guts of it, it's all gonna fall apart. This is why some of your friends making all the money in the world and you get it and you can't seem to run it. That's likely why. You got to understand why you're doing what you're doing, and you want to look back. This is something that most people, when they've never heard of this. I've been teaching it for years, and it's been it gets more and more effective as the markets get more and more volatile. So look back at the effectiveness of your plan, and of course, taking breaks. Again, if you're taking long break, if you're trading 8 hours a day, make sure you take a few breaks, and I'm talking half hour or so. But try not to do that. You can do a lot of profitable things in a very short period of time if you are focused. And the final one is that you want to identify and stick to your A+ trade setups. And when I say setups, I mean the whole from beginning to end, but especially the trigger, especially what gets you started in a trade. I think that's going to show you that you're doing the right thing a lot of the time, and feed your understanding that you can be a long-term successful trader if you just line up these mental constructs. Now I want to get to the 2 secret sauce steps that I believe are really even simpler than what I've described. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. Let's all take a righty. All right, here's the 2 secret sauce steps, and I'm going to dig into these a little bit because this is really where the lasting change comes. What I've showed you are kind of structural changes. They will help you to stay on the wagon once you're on it. But I find that if you utilize the secret sauces, that you can make the transition, and then these other points that I've described keep you easily on that agenda. Okay. So first, understand that we have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the person that is the voice that you're talking to all the time. Gosh, should I take this trade? Or boy, I bet maybe I'll double up on this. And, I'm coming off a double bottom. I know that's a little strong. I'm gonna take a little extra risk. Your conscious mind is advising you, but where does it just doesn't pick up. It just doesn't pick up its advice from the air. You have given your conscious mind the advice that it's going to regurgitate back to you. If you've had a couple of losses and you're saying, boy, this is a new plan, I just cannot seem to get in. I don't know, is all this going to work? And then then you have a small win and another loss. Oh, every time I get a winner, it always comes back with it. If you're feeding your mind those doubtful thoughts, okay, and this is where you're coming from, you're trading without solution. Okay, you're trading without really knowing what to do, or some of the constructs that I've mentioned, and some of the constructs, frankly, that Fausto teaches. If you're talking to your mind in those detrimental ways, when a trade comes up, your conscious mind defends and protects what you have fed it. Okay, and when that trade setup comes up, you hesitate, because when your conscious mind says, well, hold on a second, you've had some doubts here, we've had some, maybe we'll let this one go, and if it works, then we'll get our check. And of course, the one that you don't take is the one that goes sky high, and you would have gotten all over your losses times 10. That's going to always happen to you. It did for me in the early days. But I'm just saying to you, you want to be in all of it. You want to, and how do you change this? You have to change what your subconscious mind believes is true for you. That's what it is. Your subconscious mind believes everything that you say, and will hold you to that, and will defend that. Okay, so this is a picture, literally, of the subconscious mind. And if you look at these wormy things here, this is an actual micro photograph. And these are actually energy pathways. These are actually holding thoughts. I don't know if I should take the next trade. Oh, well, maybe, maybe I should take the day off. Oh, maybe I'll take one more trade. Maybe it'll give it. This is all the doubtful information that you're feeding your mind. And this is the neural net that your mind has created based on the repetition of these same like thoughts that you've given it. And therefore, you're now acting based on this neural net. This is what your conscious mind will refer to when you get into a particular situation. Now, there are neural nets, there are thousands of them, maybe even millions of them for every possible situation that you've encountered and given credence to or lack of credence to, and did it in any kind of repetitive way to create a neural net. Okay, so this neural net is guiding you. This is the one that's making you miss trades. Look at it. I mean, horrible. But you can change it. And how do you change it? Yes, I think what you do is you feed your mind with the right suggestions. I am a wise and disciplined trader, and I do the things that a wise and disciplined trader does. When my trading plan gives me a signal to get into a trade, I take it without hesitation because I have a tested and proven trading plan. I am a wise and disciplined trader, and I do the things that a wise and disciplined trader does. Now, if you sit there and you close your eyes, you take a few deep breaths, and you listen to a meditation that is repeating these kinds of positive thoughts, generic but specific, generic to everybody can listen to it. It's not saying, hey, Bob, although the more you can do that, the better. We do that for custom traders. But I'm saying that even in this generic form that I talk about, you will create, with just 5 repetitions of a particular subconscious training, say overcoming fear of losing, being more patient, etc., overcoming fear and greed, reversing revenge trading. We have specific meditations on each of these. You feed even just taking a 7 to 10 minute meditation once a day for 5 days will build enough neural pathways to create this same neural net, only with the information that serves you. In fact, if you continue to feed it for another few days, it will replace the old neural net. The old neural net will die. It will shrivel up, just like a muscle will shrivel up, will atrophy. It will literally atrophies without any more conductive input from these energy streams of thought. So I'm saying to you, it is easy to do with meditations. You just have to give yourself the right suggestions. We have that for you. There may be others you can find, but we do it specifically for traders. And then there's something called the emotional freedom technique. This is the 7th point, that it is a much more modern way of doing the same kind of thing, but it really involves, again, energy pathways. Listen, I have my degrees in math, and I think Fausto does too, at least in engineering. Most of us are engineers in the past. But when somebody comes to me and says, energy for your body, and if I can't see it, if I can't see it and test it, I don't believe it. That's just the way I'm built. And if you're like that, know that what I'm about to say is proven. It's proven, and it took me a little while, but now I see it transforming traders in a very interesting way. Now, if you think about Eastern philosophy, in generally in health and medication and whatever, Eastern philosophy is they're in the preventative stage. You've got herbs that strengthen your body. Here in the West, we're fire putter outers. We kind of wait till you have a malady, and then we give you a pill for it to take away the pain. Or they're more preventative in the Eastern philosophy than we are here in the Western philosophy. So this is a construct from that Eastern that involves energy flowing through your body. Let's call it. I don't know why the name is escaping me, but they're vortexes of energy. Acupuncture needles go in there, and where you have a vortex of energy that's stuck, they stick the needle in, they throw a current through it, and it frees up that energy to allow it to flow so that you can act normally and positively. So, whether it's acupressure, acupuncture, this kind of energy flow ideas, it's running through your body, whether you believe it or not. It's been tested. I've seen it. And I've seen it in a scientific way, not even the way I'm showing it to you, but just to show you additional proof. EFT, the emotional freedom technique, sometimes called the tapping solution, is the go-to therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. That's post-traumatic stress disorder is probably the toughest mental condition to flatten or even think about reversing, okay, to take away the pain and so on. But the emotional freedom technique, because of this energy flow concept, is what makes it the go-to therapy for the soldiers coming back from service. It works a little bit like this. If you look at the chart right here, you see these vortexes, top of the head. We all know about the one on the side of our head, the under the eye. You probably don't know about these things. I didn't. Under the nose, the chin, either under the arm. So what we do when we have Zoom meetings and they're repeating after Tisha and doing this particular procedure, when I have them they have to lift the arm and tap under their arm. It's weird the first time, but when they see the result, I mean, they say, come on, let's keep tapping. This is a process that literally within what you do is you hold a thought in your mind, or you repeat a particular outcome. I'm a wise and disciplined trader. I'm a successful trader. I don't succumb to fear because so on and so forth, because my confidence is overwhelming. I've tested my plan. Whatever Tisha has you say, or whatever the therapist who is dealing with you for the emotion freedom technique, as you're talking, as you're saying these positive things, you're tapping these areas to free up and allow that energy that you're creating at the moment to flow through your body. I know it sounds crazy for some people, but I'm telling you, this is an area that you really need to get in touch with, because it's real. It's real. It's much better to prevent something than it is to get something horrible and then start curing it. Listen, and yes, if you're listening to me already, maybe you believe I can't get out of my own way when I'm the fear of losing. But EFT is also something that we use literally in trader emergencies. I can't get myself to do this. I keep trying, and we give them this EFT. EFT can give you an immediate reversal of the situation. This, combined with the long-term solution of meditation, using the meditations to create the neural nets, this is the combination that only we offer and that we can deliver to you. You can go and find pieces of this all around, but being specific to traders, our suggestions of being specific to traders is very, very, more specific you are with these suggestions, the more you can act specifically. So I wanted to show you those two areas of the subconscious, conscious mind, how that works, and the energy flow. EFT, or the emotional freedom technique, the Eastern Western science of separating emotion from thought. You see, emotions and thought, when there is an emotion, there is a thought. When the thought is emotion, they come together. So the greater the thought, the greater the emotion. Okay, the greater the emotion, the greater the thought. This energy flow, this release of energy, separates thought from emotion and leaves you with, sometimes at the end of a 5-minute tapping session like this, people will almost forget what the problem was. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I don't want to, after I've harped on it, I don't want to harp on it, but just saying that these are two of the things that you can do from a from a long-term standpoint that makes it happen. This is actually a picture. This is from these are 6 of the sessions that we offer in our Excel program. This is pulling the trigger without hesitation, overcoming thoughts of fear and greed, which is the one she's doing now. And this thing is about 8 minutes long. So if it's 2 minutes here, this tapping session is not even, I think it's 6 minutes. Trading to make money mindset. This is a one that I really like. It's really running your trading as a business in your mind. In other words, when you take a loss, it's like throwing in advertising in a business and nobody called. You won't do that again. So you need to frame things like a business. You can't take things personally when you trade. Sustaining discipline, it covers many areas at once to sustain it over time. So we usually like you to do this one last. Exercising patience. For years, this was the biggest issue. This was the biggest turnaround. We got the most testimonials from exercise, from turning impatience to patience to waiting for that A+ setup. And coping with losses, that's a big one. I mean, there's one thing about taking your losses. That's an issue. You don't want to move your stop. You want to have a constructed trading plan where you know that if you put your stop in the place that was tested over time, it's going to work. You don't want to start lifting that stop and doing some crazy things. Okay, so that's strength to take your losses. That's different from coping with losses. Coping with losses, we have one on strength to take your losses also, but coping with losses is about how you feel after it and the kinds of messages that you put in your mind after that. Okay, so this is where Tisha is now tapping one of those points that I showed you in the chart and then having you repeat after her. And so you're actually in the video that you'll have access to, you'll be able, she'll say something, leave you a little space to repeat it to her on the video. Okay, so this is, I just want to give you an idea of how we apply. And those closets in the back is where I have my Donald Pliner shoes. As Fausto knows, I'm a crazy shoe guy. So now you have a choice. That's somebody that looks like he's been working out with a choice, one place or another. You can continue to do what you're doing, or you can really make a change. And I'm not asking you here to change your trading plan. I think if you've got a good trading plan and you know it, you can't follow it because of whatever reason, let's get together, choose the right path. Join me on this. Something called Excel. I want to say up front that Excel is a 5-week program that we offered for $997 up till last year. We didn't run it last year because I was in the middle of writing a book and so on. There's a number of things that happened. So we didn't offer it last year, and we won't be offering it this year for more action reasons. But Excel is really our premier program when it comes to fast change, because it involves both of these technologies in one shot. Now, I am not going to offer you I'm not going to offer you the live version of this today, Excel. What I'm going to offer you, instead of $997 in a group that what I'm offering you today is the recording of the first Excel program that we did, which I think was our best. This recording will first have an hour video of a session that we did with a group of a particular issue, like lack of patience. And if lack of patience is that week's issue, we did a group, we did some exercises, and then we give you the assets to train on that before the next week. What I'm offering you here is the entire recording of everything. You can do it on your own time. And because we're not personally involved, but you'll still get all the elements, it's a broken price that you won't believe, and I'll show you in a second. But this was a trade transformation program that was just 28 days. We were turning traders from lack of trading psychology and following the trading plan to ice in the veins. And this is the program that can do it. Okay. And what it involves, it was a 5 weekly meetings, of which you'll have all in front of you with the moment you subscribe to this, and not subscribe, but buy it. There's no subscriptions involved. And then we give you work between the weekly meetings to do, the meditation to take. We give you access to that. We give you the EFT video to take, both on, say, on improving the patience. Let's say we're working on patience, so you get the meditation on patience, the EFT video on patience. We are solving the patience problem this week. Okay, and then and then you're accountable to us the next week. Well, you won't get the accountability with this offer. You're going to have to be accountable to yourself, because I'm giving you all of the elements and you'll do it on your own. Okay, I did this for Black Friday, and there are some that have moved almost all the way through already, and it hasn't even been in a week. They're really taking it seriously. So I'm going to offer you the recording of our first presentation of this 5-week program. And again, you've got the meetings. You'll have a recording of the meetings. You won't. These are the days and times we gave the meetings. You don't have to worry about that. But it'll cover things like, you see that form right here? There's also, on each of the weeks, there's a downloadable form, okay? And this one was about challenging negative thoughts. We give you a little worksheet with each one that you'll be able to download and so on. So hesitation to pull the trigger 1 week, lack of patience the next week, revenge trading the next week, fear the next week, running your trading as a business the next week. So this kind of progress, you can do it exactly as we prescribed it. Look at the video as if you were sitting there live with the others. Do the elements, the subconscious trainings every day, once a day for 8 minutes. Do the EFT session once a day for 5 minutes. Do that just as if you were doing it live, and stretch it out over 5 weeks. Just do it. Just do it. You're in control by having the recording of this. I think it really helps a lot of people, especially those that live in places like Australia or India or whatever, where the time space, you can't get it together, okay? That is a friend of mine. So again, accountability, which you'll be doing on your own, the 5 weekly meetings of which you'll have recordings of, the proven asset between meetings. In other words, you'll have the subconscious trainings, you'll have the EFT sessions and so on for you to work with. And of course, you'll make your friend accountable, or be accountable to yourself. This may be the toughest piece for you when you're doing it on your own, because I won't be looking you in the face on one of those Zoom boxes and saying, hey, did you do it? You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do it on your own, because you're getting the recordings. I'm not offering you the live versions. Okay, this is what you'll have access to when you open up Excel. These are all the recorded sessions. I didn't include all 5 or 6 weeks of it, but I'm just saying that, say week 1, we worked on hesitation to pull the trigger, which is a big issue. The second week, we work on overcoming thoughts of fear and greed. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll look at the recording. You'll look at the recording. The recording will have 8 or 10 or 20 individuals, whoever was in that particular session. You'll have their little boxes, and you'll figure you'll be the 21st box, and you'll just sit there and you'll learn like we were teaching, as if you were part of the crowd, the Zoom boxes, okay? And then at the end, we're going to give you an assignment, and that assignment will give you a worksheet. And this week, it's going to be how to pull the trigger without hesitation every time worksheet. I'll give you, no time to go through that, but it's a worksheet that really simplifies things and has you think and act in the right direction. Then we'll give you the actual subconscious meditation, the training. You'll play it, you'll sit there, you'll take a few deep breaths before you start trading, you'll close your eyes, and 8 minutes later, you'll be done. And then after trading, or anytime during the day, you'll do the tapping. It's fun, really, and it's so effective. It's crazy. Yeah, you'll see Tisha, and you'll see why I fell in love with her. She'll be talking to you in the video, showing you where to tap, in what order, and saying, and you'll repeat after her, and it's fun. Okay, so you'll have all of the elements. And then week 2, you'll have another video. You can't see it down here, but it's here of the training. You'll have another special report that I gave. Instead of a worksheet this week, it was a paper that I wrote for an industry paper that I think could be real helpful, a guide to dominating the fear of losing, some of the things that we covered and maybe other things that we haven't. And you'll get the EFT version of the overcoming fear and greed. You'll also have overcoming thoughts of fear and greed in your subconscious training. So you're hitting from an Eastern standpoint and a Western standpoint. This is the way to get things done. Okay, this is the way to get the result that you want. Okay, Norma and Tisha, I'm so very grateful for the evolutionary development that I've experienced through your mentorship. Through the Excel workshop, Norma and Tisha provided me with the cutting edge advantage I needed to turn all the frustration from the years of heartache and disappointment results to a professional strategy that I'm now implementing consistently as a wise, disciplined, patient. You can see where he got that from. That's one of our big expressions. You're a wise and disciplined trader. Patient, profitable trader, averaging between 150 and 200 a day over the past 2 weeks. This particular individual I thought was asking for too much at his level of trading. Now, now he's arrived at a level, did very well. The evolution, achieved by attending Excel workshop has molded my trading abilities from haphazard activity to specific systemized steps that, when executed with discipline, are now spelling out consistent profits. I'm happy to share with you that I'm well on the road to being, and he's very, Thomas, you'd love him. A truly wise and disciplined professional trader. So he's thanking us. And here's Lee, who said, often traders get wrapped up in indicators. Up here, these are the actual, I'm just, you can't read this, so I'm printing it out here. These are the actual emails that were sent. Often traders get wrapped up in an indicator, patterns, moving averages, time frames, and the like, to try to tweak their process ad nauseum. The true holy grail of trading is truly the mental component. It's likely the missing piece for you too. This 5-week Excel course has helped me develop a daily routine designed to improve my confidence and hone my ability to deal with losses. The subconscious training, EFT exercises have been immensely helpful. Any trader who does not work hard on their mental approach is doomed to failure. And Norman and Tisha have the exact program that you need to hone this key area of trading performance. Thank you, Lee, for the better explanation that I could have made. And finally, Andrew, who said, I believe that developing the mindset of a professional trader is the holy grail of trading. Not any of the numerous trading plans out there. Having worked with Norman and Tisha in the past, I know they do an excellent job of addressing the mental and emotional issues that many traders struggle with. So when they announced their Excel program, I know they would. I knew they would deliver, and I noticed significant improvement in my trading performance in only a few weeks. It won't take long. You won't have to go through all the material. You'll see the 6 weeks that I showed you. Start with the one that's your issue. If it's patience, start with that one. If it's you can't pull the trigger on, and you know you should, start with that one. If you're over trading, start with that one. Start with the one, and you will see immediately, not immediately, but within that week, you're going to see the difference, and that will inspire you to really move through the other parts of the trading. I highly recommend you to join Excel, especially if you believe that you're getting in your own way, and it's not your trading plan or lack of better trading plan that's holding you back from success. And these people are really, they're wonderful people, and not because they were. Especially the last guy, he was a little bit out there when we first, but man, has this honed him into the focus, and it will for you too. All right, the Excel is a 28-day program that again, you're getting the recording so you can manage it on your own time, no matter where you live in the world, okay? We offered it for, well, the first one was more than this, but the second one we offered for $9.97. But I made a Black Friday. I'm holding over that special. So I'm calling it for us here the Black Friday holdover special, which is the replay of the initial Excel where all of these testimonials came from the initial one. Okay. I have others, but I wanted to show you ones from this particular one. I'm going to give you 80% off, $197 to seriously approach your mental capabilities and freeze them in a state where you can be a focused, responsible trader. Okay, I don't know how to better say it. I think we've said it a million different ways, but for $197, you're going to get exactly what everybody got for $997 for this Black Friday holdover special. You just have to go to thedisciplinetrader.com/Excel. And I'm sorry you've got to use this coupon code. You don't even really have to remember. When you get to this site, this page, you'll see it again repeated, BFR 2024, thedisciplinetrader.com/Excel, and use that code for the 190. And it's one time. This is not a yearly thing. You'll have it for life. You'll have it to refer to as long as you need to refer to it. So I wanted to give you all of that. I know that I talk pretty fast, but I try to give all that I could, Fausto, for this because of our relationship. We've been together a long time, and I've always appreciated your idea of what moves the market and the big players. It just makes total sense. And I've always made total sense to you. So I thought I'd do something special here today.
Norman, you don't talk fast. You're from New York. We all talk fast because we're always in a rush. We got to make sure we just tell you how it is, and that's it. So it's nothing. Don't worry about it. I love every minute, but I love having you on. You can see how charismatic and how unbelievable Norman is about his passion to kind of teach more of the discipline. One of the very few people actually teach a course on the discipline stuff. But Norman, thanks for having me, and Merry Christmas, and we'll see you. We'll hope to see you next year.
The best to you and yours, and thank you again for having me.
You too. You too.